Hello everybody. Season 6 of the Kolskor Marble Championship wrapped up not too long ago, and it was certainly an interesting season. Conveniently, there's also a lot of things to make fun of, including 12 all-new marbles. So, let's start with the B Division. Raven entered the KMC and immediately decided they wanted to be as mid as possible. You can claim that you deserve to qualify by getting more points than us all you want, but that doesn't matter when the marbles that did qualify in your group deserved it over you every single time. Then when it came into the B Division, you were just incredibly mid. Yeah, you got bronzes and bounce back and parallel run, but who really cares? You ultimately finished in 7th, which is kind of decent, I guess, so you're not entirely relevant, just uninteresting. Similar to Raven, Sky's season was characterized by doing mid in basically everything, failing to qualify as this time there were actually competent marbles against them. In 6 out of the 8 B Division events, they placed between 12th and 6th, the definition of mid. In fact, they were so mid for most of the season that their drag bounce gold was probably the most forgotten gold medal of the season, and I don't think even a single person brought it up 5 seconds after it happened. You just sort of fade into the background, Sky, and to be honest, that's probably for the best. Well, that was a comeback and a half. Mahi-Mahi's rebrand started off with a paltry performance in the qualifiers, followed by an absolute travesty for the first 5 events in the B Division, with only 21 points to show for it. Then out of absolutely nowhere, you won 2 silvers in a row and finished in 8th overall to save the season. So, congratulations on not getting relegated. Your prize? Failing to qualify for the 6th season in a row. After the disastrous Season 5 choke, White Flame has managed to bounce back in Season 6 with a strong overall finish in the B Division. Your qualifying failure may have come as a surprise to others, but not me. I remember when the same thing happened in Season 3, and this time not even a first place in bounce back could save you from failure. I don't care about your halfway decent B Division show, because these are marbles you should have easily beaten. You couldn't even manage to podium, falling to 4th in the last event. Season 1 was a fluke, White Flame, and getting back the spark you once had almost seems impossible. You just keep managing to fall further and further down, don't you, Tiger? You've mastered the art of getting worse and worse every season, capitalizing on your 15th in Season 5 to book a ticket to the Season 6 B Division. I really don't know how you keep doing it, somehow finding ways to extend the act of falling off a cliff over 5 separate seasons. You almost even got relegated despite winning the first event, but managed to save yourself at the last minute with an actually decent lap racing performance. I wonder, are you going to go for relegation next? Because that's where your trajectory is heading, and at this point, I don't think anyone cares. Hey, how do people respond to hearing the name Strigaday? Who? I'd be more sorry about that abysmal joke if it wasn't 100% factual. Strigaday is one of the most irrelevant marbles in this competition, having done basically nothing with every chance they've had. Honestly, the fact that you didn't get relegated was a miracle, considering you didn't even get any medals and were teetering on the edge for the entire season. So you were going to the qualifiers, but that really changes nothing when you realize that no one was going to watch you anyway. Darren, come on, you've got this. I know you finished last in the qualifiers the last 2 seasons, but there's a bunch of newbies this time. You've got this. You can do it. I believe in you. What the fuck was that? You finished last in qualifying for the 3rd time in a row. Not just in your group, but out of the entire field. And not only that, you were mathematically eliminated after event 3. I'm done. I'm done talking about it. I don't care how you did in the video. I'm moving on. Next. This was maybe the most irrelevant silver performance I've ever seen. Pellet got last in their group and then won a silver and a bronze in the first 2 B Division events, and then no one paid attention to them for the rest of it. And somehow they have maybe one of the most consistently above average seasons ever, finishing on the overall podium without breaking a sweat. I don't get it. Maybe Palette just wants to keep their canvas blank until they get some proper inspiration, but so far, it looks like the only way they can become relevant is the same way all famous artists did, by dying. Look, I know I made fun of Strigaday for being irrelevant, but my goodness did you not want anyone to know you existed. I'd probably say something about how pathetic you were in your events, but I honestly don't remember seeing you in any of it. Well, except lap racing, when you were 3rd going into the last lap, and could have escaped relegation, but fell all the way down to 11th over the course of 15 seconds, banishing you to the B Division until at least Season 8. Have fun rotting there with the rest of the useless competitors. I'm sure you'll make great friends. Okay, so when I was trying to think of a marble more relevant than Crystal, I couldn't come up with one. That's because I genuinely forgot that Caramel exists. I have absolutely no recollection of you in this tournament. I even went back to watch the footage of you to write this paragraph, and I still forgot you were on the screen. To be honest, I think not getting relegated actually made you less relevant because people actually look at the bottom of the standings. But no, you managed to survive somehow. Good for you, I guess, but you'll probably just continue to be absolutely nothing of value. I didn't think Turtle could collapse much more than they did at the end of Season 5, but boy did they prove me wrong by managing to get relegated. Did you see what Tiger was doing and just decide to speed it up tenfold? Because you didn't even try to make it out of the relegation zone by the end. At least the other marbles put up 1 or 2 solid finishes, but not you. You are the only marble who wasn't added in Season 6 to still not have a medal. You can't even say that about Ruby and Snowball. All this does is make me angrier at you for getting everyone to believe that you were legit for the first 8 events of Season 5. But luckily that facade fell away before it could do any real damage. I'll see you in the B Division, Turtle, if you don't go extinct first. Orc, why did you have to go and choke qualification like that? You could have made it. You were likely to make it. But then you decided that the best thing to do in Final Endurance was roleplay as a rock. So you went to the B Division and Mess qualified. Yeah, Mess qualified over you. And then it looked like you were going to get relegated too, and only then did you realize that this was actually a competition, winning 2 gold medals in the last 3 events, and somehow getting the overall B Division bronze. Maybe next time you decide that it would actually be worth it to try and qualify. Be honest with yourself, Ruby. Did you really deserve to not get relegated? The first 4 B Division events you got 45 points with a bronze and a silver. Very solid. The next 4, you got 12. 12! 2 of those were last place. You got P1 in lap racing and only finished 12th. The only reason you're not relegated is because Snowball and Crystal managed to choke harder than you. How does it feel, rotting down here while the other addition to Season 5 makes their place as one of the league's greatest competitors? Hopefully it sucks and motivates you to do better. Although, considering your track record, I find that unlikely. Look, I could go on and on about Circus, but honestly, I think the footage speaks for itself. What, Nebula? Pfft, that marble sucks. They got like 13 points in the qualifiers. They weren't even close to qualification. They'll probably do absolutely nothing in the B Division. Holy shit! My god, that wasn't a competition. This was a massacre. Nebula went in there like a professional MMA fighter, showing up to the kiddie playground with a baseball bat and beat the ever-living daylights out of all the other marbles. Any marble had 160 possible points to get in the B Division, and Nebula got 118 of them. That average is more than a bronze medal. Nebula got more medals in 8 events than Wisp has in their entire career. They didn't only beat the entire B division, but also 4 marbles who actually qualified for the A division, and they had double the events Nebula did. This was perhaps the most dominant performance of all time. But if you don't qualify for Season 7, nothing I just said matters one bit. So, Nebula, qualify. This was pathetic. I cannot believe that you managed to get relegated after winning 2 medals in a row. You somehow strung together the only 2 actually decent performances of your entire career and still couldn't make it to the qualifiers. There were marbles around you choking left and right. Ruby had fallen off a cliff. Strigaday and Caramel couldn't even win medals. Darrick's been trashed since the Stone Age. But no, you lost to every single one of them. After this season, from 20 events across Season 5 and 6, Snowball has 114 points. Nebula, despite only competing in 8 events, has 118. You have less points than a marble that has competed in 40% of the events you have. Yeah, you deserve this. But the cherry on top, Snowball? Retirement. Your stay in this competition is officially over. So goodbye, Snowball. We're not sad to see you go. God, finally, I don't have to talk about that B-League trash anymore. Show me a competitor who actually tried, please. Good enough. Both season was a mess of ups and downs. They started with 4 bottom half finishes, and then followed it up with 5 top half finishes, including a gold in balancing and 2 bronzes. The rest of the season you were kind of just mid, managing a 2nd gold in bathtub endurance and somehow having a pretty good chance at a podium in the end, but didn't do enough and ended up in 6th. So congratulations, you finished higher than the bottom of the top half for the first time, although still apparently have an allergy to silver medals for some reason. No, seriously, they've won 13 medals and none of them have been silver. Overall, Bolt, that was a pretty decent season. Keep it up and maybe you'll actually manage to podium next time. Dragonfly started the season by crushing the qualifiers with ease, and after the first 5 events, they had a fairly comfortable lead after winning a gold in funnel endurance and a bronze in bounce back. The next course of action? Become as irrelevant as possible for the next 6 events. You went from a strong lead to doing basically nothing until winning a silver in length rolling, and then no one remembered who you were anymore. You managed another gold in lap racing to end the season in 8th, but it could have been so much better. This marble definitely has potential, that much is obvious, but applying it is another story. This season was weird for Blue Bottle. On one hand, they got 3 silver medals in a row from hurdles, bounce back and balancing, as well as a gold from collision carving to put them in a good spot for a podium finish. On the other hand, that trifecta of silver was followed by 6 straight events of bottom 8 finishes, and they only managed to finish 7th overall. A tad disappointing for that kind of medal count. Although, you're still finding a footing in this league, Blue Bottle, so building on this seems very possible for you, so long as this doesn't become a one-season wonder. This was less Trinitro Toluene and more grenade throw after forgetting to pull the pin for you, Dynamite. Your amazing start with a silver and a golden funnel dash and bounce back turned into a god-awful performance for the next 5 events. After that, you decided to just try and control the damage, becoming mid and irrelevant for the latter half of the season. This earns you the lavish title of worst newbie in the A division. How lucky for you! It wasn't all bad, but still needs significant improvement. Well, this was a surprise to no one. Honestly, the biggest surprise from Hive was that they qualified in the first place, but being in the easiest group does help. For the first 8 events, Hive, you only got 1 top half finish, a golden funnel dash, and that made up half your points until event 9. You actually made a bit of a comeback after that, getting medals in parallel run and elimination race, but you quickly reverted back to your old ways, ending off the season with 2 dead last finishes in a row. You're never escaping this irrelevancy, Hive, but to be honest, as long as you stay in the A division, you'll probably be fine. Ocean, if you were trying to beat the Mellow Yellow accusations, this was not the way to do it. I don't take back what I said in the Season 5 recap, but every other season you put up this kind of performance and it really doesn't paint you in the best light. All you have to show for the season is a silver and funnel endurance. You were embarrassingly mid for everything else. There's no argument now that Ocean isn't up to the standard of Black Rose, and with a lot of rookies that have done very well for themselves, their position as a top marble is starting to slip. If you want a marble whose whole shtick is being overall decent at basically everything, Andromeda is for you. Managing to match Pixie's record of a 7-event top half streak, the last two of which were both golds, put you on the map, but the following slump took your winning chances away. A silver in collision color gave you another chance, but unfortunately you were overtaken on literally the second last turn of lap racing, missing out on the overall podium. Still, this was a very impressive start to Andromeda's career, and 4th is still good enough for all the qualification. As the best newbie of Season 6, we'll see you in the next one. Holy shit, that was atrocious! The decent showing of Season 5 made everyone believe that Wisp was making a comeback, and in the qualifiers they were the best out of the field. And then they just followed it up with this. Just 80 points and not a single medal. Hell, Nebula has more career medals from you, and they've been in 8 events. You could have actually done something for once, Wisp, and you'd throw it away just like every other chance you've ever had in anything. Not even in collision curling could you do anything, and you have the record in that event. To top it off, you finished second last in 5 separate events. Utter garbage is all you've ever given anyone who ever believed in you, and your legacy of failure will never change. This was a weird performance from Mantis. Absolutely murdering the qualifiers was followed up with an absolutely atrocious start to the main season with only 10 points after 3 events. However, that actually didn't last very long. A bronze in hurdles brought you up a few spots, but it was only an elimination race where you made your mark, winning gold there and following it up with a silver in the next event. Unfortunately, by then it was too late for you to probably break into a winning position, and although you did manage another silver in lap racing, you missed out on auto qualification by 2 points to Andromeda. Still a good start, don't get me wrong, it was nice and all, but your inconsistencies early on really came back to bite you later in the season. Fix those, and you'll be a real threat coming into Season 7. Speaking of consistency, Knight continues their streak of never having a bad showing, this time pulling off an overall bronze to add to their overall silver from Season 3. They were so consistent that they managed 10 double-digit finishes. 10. The problem? Only 2 of those were medals, silver in sprint and gold in marble push, which, I might add, they have never not come first in. But the overall lack of medals really held you back there, and stopped you from going even further than you did. But hey, an overall bronze is an overall bronze, so you've auto-qualified for the 3rd time in your career, and made your place as one of the greatest athletes this competition has to offer. If Knight showed off the best parts of consistency, Lollipop gave the worst parts of inconsistency. 5 medals, 10th in the standings. Not one finish outside of your medals was above 8th. That is terrible. You take the point percentage of those 11 events where Lollipop didn't medal, you get 20%, which is lower than Circus. And to continue this whole math thing, Lollipop's standard deviation was 6.975. That's not very good. But you want to know the best part? The expected value of a marble's final score in the KMC is 129. Lollipop got 130, meaning that they managed to be so inconsistent that it cancelled itself out and became dead average. This is how Lollipop do. And honestly, I think that's hilarious. Keep it up, Lollipop. You're the reason I pay attention in math. Alright, genuine question. Did anyone actually watch Glacier compete? Because I forgot they existed until they blindsided me with a bronze and gold back-to-back and was suddenly in 5th place. Sure, it didn't last very long, but they honestly did much better than I expected, managing to pick up 2 bronzes, a silver, and the aforementioned gold in length rolling of all events. They fizzled out pretty quickly after this, but in truth it was a pretty decent showing. You have potential, Glacier, so don't let it slip away. Oh, this was bad. Like, really bad. Collapsing to 13th overall was not what I expected from you, Lapis. You started really well too, but then after event 3 you didn't appear in the top 7 again until event 12. That's not good, at all. And it made me realize that you're really not as good as I first thought. You only won Season 4 by 3 points in the closest season ever, and although you got 4th in Season 5, this season makes me worried for you. Maybe I'm overplaying it, and this is just a fluke, but I remember what happened to White Flame. The same thing could very well happen to you if you aren't careful. Don't screw this up. Mess, my friend, my good chum. What the fuck was this shit? 63 points is all you managed in 16 events. This is Wisp Season 4 levels of pathetic. In a total of 10 events, you finished either 13th or 12th. Even Circus had more top half finishes than you. Hell, Nebula almost doubled your points with half the events. You've turned what was actually kind of a decent season of Season 5 into a dumpster fire. You barely squeaked through qualifications, and everyone could see that your place in the A Division was completely undeserved in every possible way. The fact that you even qualified is an embarrassment to the competition. The mere existence of your career is a mystery to me, so the quicker you disappear into your rightful place in the B Division, the better. Now that is what I'm talking about. This season was spectacular from you, Pixie, winning Underwater Race as the first event and never leaving the top 4 once. There were a lot of people who didn't want to believe that you'd do well too, and you showed them all why you deserve your spot in the KMC. At no point did you let anything get in your way, managing to never finish in the bottom half of the standings 2 events in a row. Top that off by winning a record high 6 medals with a gold, 2 silvers and 3 bronzes to end your season as one of the strongest showings of this competition's history. You at the center of it. Be proud to call yourself a champion, Pixie. Your name should be forever recorded in the KMC Hall of Fame. And of course, with that comes auto qualification. So we'll see you in Season 7. It feels like I'm forgetting someone. Wait, why do I hear boss music? Again, Black Rose almost won this season again. They lulled everyone into a false sense of security, performing mid for the first 4 events, and then a gold in hurdles launched them up 8 spots into the top 3, where they stayed for the rest of the season. With their 2 bronzes in balancing and triathlon, followed up by a silver in elimination race, it looked like they were going to complete the trifecta with other very consistent performances, but was stopped at the last moment by Pixie going on a tear in the last 3 events. Sure, they didn't finish it up, but 2 overall silver medals in a row, adding to their 2 overall gold medals in a row, barely anyone can stand up to them. Their consistency is mind-boggling, and out of all the marbles outside the bottom 5, they were the most consistent this season, even more so than Knight. Right now, it seems like it's only a matter of time until they win another season, but that has been delayed once again. We'll see you in Season 7, Black Rose, since you're obviously auto-qualified. So I didn't record an outro for this, so, thanks for watching, I guess. Bye.